We were looking at wedding venues when my girlfriend asked, "Would you be okay if my ex walks me down the aisle?" "Wait, what?" I said, stopping mid-step in the middle of this fancy ballroom with crystal chandeliers everywhere. "Your ex-boyfriend walks you down the aisle? That's a joke, right?" Vanessa's face went completely still, and she just stared at me like I'd said something horrible. "His name is Derek, and he's been like family since high school. My dad died when I was 16, and Derek was there for me." I tried to backtrack because I could feel the energy shifting wrong. "Babe, I get that, but having your ex at the wedding is one thing. Having him walk you down the aisle is completely different." She grabbed her purse off the venue coordinator's desk and walked straight out the door without another word. I stood there in that empty ballroom feeling like an idiot while the coordinator pretended to check her clipboard. I called after Vanessa, but she was already in her car pulling out of the parking lot before I even made it outside. I sat in my truck for 20 minutes trying to call her, but every call went straight to voicemail. Finally, I texted her saying we should talk about this like adults, and she responded immediately with just 2 words that made my blood run cold. "We're done, Kieran." I stared at my phone thinking this had to be some kind of overreaction. We'd been together for 3 years. We'd already put down a $15,000 deposit on this venue. Her mom had already ordered the invitations. Breaking up over one question about her ex seemed completely insane. I drove straight to her apartment, but when I got there, her roommate Natasha answered the door and told me Vanessa didn't want to see me. I asked what the hell was going on, and Natasha just shook her head and said I should have known better before closing the door in my face. Known better about what? My phone rang, and it was my boy Garrett calling. The second I said hello, he just sighed really loud. "Dude, you really screwed up this time." I asked him what he was talking about, and he said Vanessa's sister Olivia had already posted in their family group chat about me disrespecting Derek's role in Vanessa's life. Apparently the whole family was pissed at me now for being insensitive about her dad's death. I told Garrett I never said anything about her dad. I just questioned why her ex-boyfriend specifically needed to walk her down the aisle. He went quiet for a second, then said, "You know Derek's not really her ex, right? They never actually dated." That information hit me like a truck because Vanessa had definitely referred to him as her ex multiple times. I specifically remembered her saying she dated him junior and senior year of high school. Garrett explained that Derek was her dad's best friend's son, and after her dad died, Derek kind of stepped into this protective older brother role even though they were the same age. I told Garrett that Vanessa literally called him her ex-boyfriend to my face at least 5 times, and he said I must have misunderstood because everyone in their circle knew Derek was basically family. I spent the next 2 hours driving around trying to process what was happening. My phone kept buzzing with texts from people in Vanessa's extended circle. Her cousin Whitney sent me a long message about how family is everything, and if I couldn't understand that, then I wasn't ready for marriage. Her Aunt Karen said she always knew something was off about me, and Vanessa deserved someone who respected her grief. Even my own sister texted me asking why I was being such a jerk about Vanessa's dad, which meant the story had already spread beyond just her family. I tried calling Vanessa again, and this time she actually answered. Before I could say anything, she told me she needed someone who understood the importance of honoring her father's memory, and clearly I wasn't that person. I started to explain that I did understand. I just thought having an ex walk her down the aisle was weird, and she cut me off saying Derek wasn't her ex. "Then why did you tell me he was your ex-boyfriend?" I asked, and the line went completely silent for like 10 seconds. When she finally spoke again, her voice was different, colder. "I never said that. You assumed it, and I didn't correct you because it was easier than explaining our actual relationship." I pulled up our old text messages and started scrolling back through months of conversations, looking for any mention of Derek. I found one from 8 months ago where she wrote, "My ex is coming to town next week," and then later mentioned it was Derek. Right there in black and white, she'd called him her ex. I screenshot the message and sent it to her with a question mark. 3 minutes later, my phone rang, and it was her brother Austin calling instead of Vanessa. He said I needed to stop harassing his sister and bringing up painful parts of her past. My buddy Isaac called me that night and said everyone was talking about what happened at the venue. He pulled out his phone to show me a group chat I wasn't part of. It was Vanessa's college friend group, and they were all discussing how I'd insulted her dead father by refusing to let Derek walk her down the aisle. The messages made it sound way worse than what actually happened. Isaac watched me read through the messages and then said something that made everything click into place. The rest of the story is linked below or on my channel.